You are listening to episode 42 of the EU Startups podcast. Today's guest is Rachel Delacour, the founder and CEO of Sweep, a leading platform which helps businesses to track and act on their carbon. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the EU Startups podcast. And before we jump into the interview with today's guest, I'm excited to introduce our podcast sponsor. This episode of the EU Startups podcast is brought to you by Vanta, helping you scale security practices and automate compliance for the industry's most sought-after standards. To close and grow major customers, you have to demonstrate trust. But providing your security and compliance can be time-consuming, tedious and expensive, especially for startups. Unless you use Vanta. Vanta automates up to 90% of the work for the most sought-after compliance standards like SOC 2 and ISO 27001 and gets you audit-ready in weeks instead of months. With Vanta, you get up to 400 hours of your time back and reach up to 85% in cost savings. And for a limited time, EU Startups listeners get $1,000 off Vanta. Just go to vanta.com/EU Startups without a dash to get started. Today I'm excited to interview Rachel Delacour, the co-founder and CEO of Sweep. Founded in 2020 and headquartered in Paris, Sweep today is one of Europe's leading carbon and ESG management platforms. Sweep has raised almost $100 million in funding from investors including Tony Fadell, the inventor of the iPod. Customers range from gaming giants Ubisoft to the largest telecoms company in Switzerland, Swisscom. Rachel, thank you so much for taking the time and welcome to the EU Startups podcast.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. So I would say let's start in the very beginning of your entrepreneurial journey. What was your first entrepreneurial project and how did this whole journey eventually led to the creation of Sweep?
Yes, so I'm a second-time entrepreneur. I have set up a company called BIME Analytics in 2009, and it was all about democratizing data analytics. It was a SaaS cloud business intelligence solution, and yes, to make it more affordable and accessible for very small and medium-sized enterprise, analytics, because every companies deserve to navigate through their data and to, just to thrive in this world. And becoming an entrepreneur was not really part of the plan. Actually, it came from just a desire to address the challenges and frustrations that I encountered, as a financial controller. And it was super outdated, super pricey. And so it was all about building this first company to just answer my needs. So it led to BIME Analytics and it led also to Sweep today, but maybe we can talk about this a little bit more. But you will see that it's very linked to that, my data journey in general.
Okay. And you sold this first company to, I think, Zendesk eventually. Yes. And how did your experience from this first startup influence the way you created and built your second company, Sweep? Were there like specific insights, learnings that helped you in your second project, in your second company?
Yeah, it's that first company and that acquisition, gave me many insights also about what we were able to build with the co-founders of the first company. When I say we, it's because I started that company again with people that I have been with my co-founders, and we've been able to we know each other for 15 years, something like that, and given our background in business intelligence and in business management, so we all joined forces. So with Raphaël Guller, product designer, Yannick Chaz, engineer, and Renaud Bétain, carbon expert, and to build Sweep. And it was key for us to our data journey was absolutely key because when you think about it, carbon and ESG in general, it's a data problem and a network problem. It's all about connecting the dots with all this new non-financial data that we absolutely need to collect, to track, to monitor, to report on, to disclose, and just to better act on it. So actually, we are kind of doing, business intelligence on top of ESG, on top of non-financial data, and definitely the ambition that we have discovered when we have joined Zendesk, that very, very large companies, the fact that they were working with hundreds of thousands of customers, and at a global scale, it made us realize that all this is possible at scale. You can build a fantastic machine journey, at scale. So let's apply that. Let's do that to what we have, as a desire to solve climate change, to solve, through data. And let's build Sweep and have even much more ambition than what we have seen at Zendesk.
Very cool. Well, Sweep obviously has a very cool mission, and it's definitely about time for platforms like this. And what is the impact you're aiming to have over the next 5 to 10 years with Sweep? Do you have like a specific vision in mind?
Yeah, but as many of us in this field, the goal is really to create a positive impact at a global scale, because we have a global problem in front of us. The good news is that digital and digital technologies can really, really organize, orchestrate that collective climate action that we absolutely need. And Sweep aspires to continue helping businesses with the best-in-class tools to meet their ESG and decarbonization objectives, while simultaneously building a collaborative and supportive company culture. So we are in this journey, with my team, with my customers, with all the partners we are working with. And yes, hopefully with more data, we will have this positive impact, because it's at the end of the day, yes, it's all about data, always and always. And I'm a strong believer that collective climate action will be able, while understanding the data, can continue and can just be reinforced, thanks to what we are doing. So we are doing our part, it's part of the problem, we are SaaS, we are B2B guys, we try to do our best, but definitely I believe that the solution will come from companies, definitely.
And with the rise of greenwashing concerns, is there a way for Sweep to make sure that companies are using your platform actively to generally making progress towards sustainability goals, and not just acting as if? Like, is there a way to hold them accountable?
Yeah. So greenwashing, yes, this is something that we all have to fight against, because we don't have time. So we don't have time for just companies who are kind of playing a game. We are in this urgency, definitely. I can just tell you that I have seen much more willingness to do great, to do good from companies, instead of greenwashing. The problem we have today is there is more of we need more knowledgeable people within companies, to understand the why of acting on your ESG data, on your ESG policy, tracking all the data, etc. It's more about getting more people ready within the companies, but even at the level of the CEO, getting this sponsorship, this very clear sponsorship, but even at the scale of the board, asking for all this. But yes, I have seen more positive, things happening, more a real willingness to act in a good way, you know, for companies, instead of just trying to hide everything. But Sweep here helps, you know, businesses to implement robust measurement, monitoring, and reporting mechanisms, you know, because it's important to have all this to track their environmental performance. And this really allows companies to build that accurate picture of their GHG emissions and ESG metrics as well. So it's encouraging them to transparently report progress and areas for improvements to their stakeholders, instead of making, you know, very misleading claims. So the transparent, the more tools they are using to be transparent with themselves first, allow them to be more transparent with external stakeholders, you know. So it's part of our mission, definitely, to help them this way.
Yeah, speaking of transparency, like there's a growing trend of that goes in the direction of sustainability, disclosure, and disclosure regulations, and I think that also fuels the rise of carbon management platforms like yours. But now, what would you say is the key differentiator of Sweep compared to other platforms that are out there? Is there like a specific innovation or a specific tool or something that you're particularly proud of at Sweep?
You know, our data background and the fact that we come from this business intelligence world has been absolutely key for all the investors, for example, that have invested, you know, in Sweep at the scale of 100 million euros. They didn't see that approach before, and they absolutely could. The fact that we were coming, you know, right away, even if we didn't at the beginning, before raising funds, with very large companies already using Sweep, you know, because of that data approach, meant absolutely something, you know, for them. They have screened all the landscape, you know, of carbon management, carbon accounting platforms, ESG platform, and it resonated, you know, that data approach resonated much more. We are the ones who are able to connect the dots, automate the data collection and the data analysis of your non-financial data stack, you know, at the scale of your scope 1, scope 2, but scope 3 as well. You know, we are able to connect information systems even outside, by collecting the information even outside of the information systems of the company. This is absolutely important and a huge differentiator when it comes to monitoring your action as a company, you know, at scale. Okay, this is so when you are combining that data skill sets with the expertise, the climate expertise, the ESG expertise that we have brought to the company from day one, this is massive. Building a software company to make sure that we are addressing the needs of a very, very large manufacturer at scale, at the scale of its supply chain, this is massively complex. And this is something that have been praised and rewarded, you know, in all the boxes that we have ticked, you know, in less than 3 years that we are existing. And our role is really the role of our platform is to streamline, you know, all this ESG data. You can't find it everywhere, you know, on with a lot of vendors outside. And what we've seen is that our customers are telling us, definitely, we want to have all our ESG data streamlined in one data platform. We don't want to add a new stack to all the non-financial data we have to monitor because of this XYZ new regulation coming in. And we need to be able to perform analysis to make sure that we are becoming what we are calling a forever company, meaning a company who is just transitioning, you know, the right way in their decarbonization path, in their becoming that company who is surviving, you know, that transition where customers, where investors, where employees want you as a company to be the among the best, and being among the best for the next 10 years. It's making sure that you are on good track when it comes to your decarb path, definitely.
Yeah,
And the rest,
very cool.
ESG.
Okay.
There is the risk of inaction, there is the value of compliance, there is all the positive business outcomes coming out of it. This is massively important, and you can't chase these three importances, from a business standpoint, if you are not able to monitor the data.
Makes sense. Wow, and congratulations, because not every startup founder wants to build a forever company, right? But it certainly looks.
I want to build I want to build a forever company. I want my customers to be forever companies as well.
Very cool. Okay, and we mentioned before, Sweep has raised an impressive amount of funding, about $100 million in total. We have many listeners who are startup founders themselves and who are currently probably trying to raise some funding. Could you share some advice, some hints on what helped you raising that amount of funding as an impact-driven entrepreneur?
Yeah. In my case, the fact that I was a second-time entrepreneur, I had these conversations with VCs that at some point I knew that who knew our background, etc. So it was a little bit different, I would say. Still, as in during any funding conversations, it's all about the team that you have assembled, to start to execute on the idea that you are selling to customers. The more you are coming with that story about your team, how complementary you are, the more you are coming with a strong data points already about your markets, but also how your idea well executed could bring, that kind of satisfaction to your customers. How the sooner you are bringing paying customers, the sooner you are also understanding that you must sell what you already developed, what you already coded. The more you are showing this, the more you are showing, that realistic view of step-by-step execution to a VC. The best the conversation, the best outcome, you will get from this discussion with the VC. Don't sell a dream, about okay, yes, if you invest that amount of money, I'm sure that I will get this. No. Ask them to invest so that you are able to duplicate, or that you are able to ask them to invest on things that you already tested, and that already worked. So the sooner you are data driven, the sooner you have some even very little KPIs to share, and KPIs who are showing a progress, the best it is. Okay, they are not asking you with very, very complicated stuff. Just be grounded, when you are talking to a VC, and this is for me where you will have the most fruitful conversation with them.
Okay. So starting companies is not that easy, and I assume you also came across some challenges while founding Sweep. What were the main challenges in the beginning of the creation of the company, and how did you overcome them?
I would say that I've always started, even my first company. I started this first company during the subprime, crisis and financial crisis. So we started also Sweep, during a very, a time of economic uncertainty during the Ukrainian, the war in Ukraine, and it's that current economic uncertainty in general is really causing some companies, so understand prospect and customer, to consider, reducing spending on climate change initiatives, because they feel that climate-related initiatives represent a significant upfront cost without an immediate benefit. And in this world, where they are all striving for, to help them on their bottom line, Sweep aims, to actually demonstrate to businesses that climate action helps businesses secure their bottom line in the long term. Remember the forever company I was talking about, while driving growth and innovation. But we have, that kind of customers. It's we are talking about a transition. We are talking about new consideration about ESG at the light of new regulation coming. So the maturity within companies is very different from one same company, same industry, you know, from one company to another. So the difficulty for a new team that you are assembling, you know, it's to navigate that big differences between companies actually. So of course the we are talking about a world transitioning, you know, to that low carbon world. So, you know, I'm really seeing the same pattern than 15 years ago when it was all about moving to the cloud or not. It was all about digitalizing all your operational systems or not, you know. So it's and now every company is digitalized, you know, went through this digital transition. So companies are realizing now that yes, there is a massive transition when it comes to your climate action and your ESG, KPIs, because of the risk of inaction, value of compliance, as I mentioned, and the positive business outcomes. I repeat that again, but it's super important. So we are in this, and we have to help them to navigate it, definitely. But still, I'm still staying absolutely optimistic to see already very advanced customer companies. The planet is vast, but the sooner we can reach out to all of them to orchestrate that digital climate action at scale, that would be great.
Very exciting. Okay. Yeah. And you're building this company in the technology space, which is still, unfortunately, quite male dominated till this day, right? Did you have the feeling that you came across some setbacks that were related to your gender in the past, or do you have some ideas and suggestion on how we can make this technology space more inclusive and empower more women to join it?
Yeah, so as well, you know, I've been in this tech digital space for more than 15 years now. Unfortunately, I can tell you that nothing really changed, to be honest with you. Female CEOs still represent, at least in France, less than 10% of all CEOs, founders. And so it's still a pity. We've been progressing at a worldwide scale, but at this at this speed, we will have hard time, okay, as women also to get access to the highest position. So what I can tell you as well is that I have seen that I'm still optimistic as well on this, because I have seen some pattern recently about the fact that in this world of climate, ESG, you know, jobs, most of the time, you know, I would say the last 10 years, that part of that practice within companies was mostly, you know, sitting in the marketing departments. Okay, it was because climate/ESG was all about communication at some point. Okay, and so it was mostly addressing, you know, marketing departments, addressed by the marketing departments, which have more and more, which have actually more female, working in marketing departments, less tech, less coming from with less engineering background. Okay, so more female in marketing departments, and now that companies are looking for where are the knowledgeable people in this company when it comes to climate ESG, because it's becoming strategic. Much more female actually have access to more important seats within the company. And we've even seen some former CSR, female chief sustainability officer, for example, or coming from CSR department, becoming the new CEO. You know, if you think about the move of H&M, moving their chief sustainability officer to the CEO role 2 years ago, something like that. It was hopefully it will become a pattern, and hopefully it will also be a way for women, to access the biggest role, the most important role within companies, thanks to that ESG / climate action that are becoming strategic. Okay.
Awesome.
So yeah, hopefully, and it's my thesis, and hopefully it won't be only one thesis, but a real pattern.
I hope you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be hopeful. Yeah. Perfect. And as final question, Rachel, I assume we have several listeners with us who are actually interested in joining the SWEEP mission, the SWEEP team. In which areas are you planning to hire most actively in the future, and where can applicants find your job offerings best?
Yeah, so we have a job page, on our website, definitely, and we need, it's really time for coalition, time for having people from so many. We are a tech company, but we must work with a carbon expert. We must work with people who really understand well, the European policies, for example, so those public affairs roles, etc. So as a tech company, we continue to hire lots of engineers, AI engineers as well, but also carbon experts, customer success manager, from regular business, regular need, I would say. But what's super interesting at SWEEP is that it's combining, many expertise, and this make it fun, but also make it look, to a bright future. I would say, it's hopefully it's a kind of lab. That company is a kind of lab of how different we must be to tackle this global problem.
Awesome. Those are very good closing words, Rachel. Thank you so much for taking the time today. EU Startups will definitely continue to follow the SWEEP journey. And we hope that we will continue to hear a lot from you and your company. So congratulations on all the success so far. And
thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.